20. Let us start now. A warm welcome to Abode Masters, Brother Jo Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. Today, I would like to share a short accepted Master's speech. Walking the path of goodness together to create blessings for the world. As Su Ching approaching its 60th anniversary, may everyone care for one another with love, show mutual understanding and empathy, rejoice in the goodness of others and offer blessings. With such kindness, the world will naturally be harmonious. Time passes swiftly and the new year is upon us. The four elements are out of balance. Disasters are frequent. Conflicts arise from human greed, leading to further suffering. The world is filled with turmoil, often leaving us deeply concerned. Let us all nurture kind thoughts and take kind actions. By walking the path of goodness together, we create blessings for the world. Gan en for Master's teaching. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sahara land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere piousness.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas hear my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified. May there be peace in the community. May there be no disasters in this world. Now let us pray together for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our life a healthy body and enlightened mind and a total fulfillment of in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage to the triple gems. Let us pay our respect for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Cheng Yen by making 3 sincere bows. Please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Upper Masters who could join us today. Here today we have 3 sharers. Brother Joe will be sharing on the Dharma insights. Sister Su Ching will be sharing on the guiding reader, happy and joyful learning, and followed by Sister Kim Yen, all the way from Bodhgaya, will be sharing on life transformation through love and care. Okay, before that, let us invite Sister Su Ching for the weekly summary. Sister Su Ching, over to you. Kan En.
Sister Lily. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yay. Finally. Okay. So last week we had the Joe Huang. The Joe Huang spoke about Master's journey is a trial to bear. Her spirit strong beyond compare. Through pain and rest, she held on tight, a guiding star shining ever so bright. For weeks she bore the ivy's weight, yet stood with disciples never late. Though weary, she carried through with purpose clear and heart so true. Brother Joe stands by, mindful and kind, grateful for each moment aligned. Master's path, though tough and long, is built on vows forever strong. The sutra speaks of wisdom's ways, for teachings must not fade away. The Buddha knew his time was brief, yet Dharma's light must bring relief. Through endurance, faith, and a steady mind, a path for future souls to find. The greatest monks, once students too, now guide the world with wisdom true. Sariputra knew his limits well, yet sought the truth where wisdom dwells. Bodhgaya grasped with care that the karmic law is always there. Okay. And then he said to be continued in his next session. Okay, then we had Brother Roger Siew from Singapore, who spoke about his happy-go-lucky eco-warrior journey. Brother Roger walks the green path with care, a life of compassion, a world to repair. In 2010, he pledged to go veggie with ease, inspired by kindness as his heart found peace. Eco-warriors cherish, protect, and sustain. From waste to wisdom, nothing in vain. 5 R's remind us, refuse and reduce, reuse, repair, and let nothing go loose. Teaching children to love, to empathize, and to see that all beings should live wild and free, from festive fairs to mindful plates, a plant-based life, a world it reshapes. Sustainability woven in choices we make, a future of kindness for all our sake. Keep believing, keep going green. Each step we take keeps Earth pristine. Okay, got for listening. I'll stop share right now and hand over to Brother Chin to introduce the next speaker.
And then Sister Su Ching, and very good morning to brothers and sisters, and welcome to another Saturday sharing. And we have 3 sharers this morning. And the first, as always, Brother Joe Huang will give us some Dharma insights. So, Brother Joe. Yeah, there you are, Brother Joe. So I trust Master is doing well. All right, left all yours.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Brother Chin. Good morning, everybody. And I think we just got through the Chinese New Year, last week was already sort of like the final day, but even though I think it was a couple of days ago that it was the lunar 15, and it marks the actual ending, of the supposedly New Year celebration. So the entire New Year celebration for us started on the lunar December's, I think 5 days, and then carried over to another 15 days after the New Year. So it's definitely a while. Usually during this time, it's very festive. We get a lot of celebration. We get a lot of people coming from different places. Last week, it began to settle down back to normal. And then lunar 15 marks the sort of the end of the New Year period, the New Year time. So usually on the first lunar January, the first month, the first 15th, Master would usually definitely come out and will encourage everybody on. However, on that day, I think Master had another, episode of back pain or backache that she couldn't even sit straight up. And so she took the entire morning resting. And I think that's always the backache or the back pain isn't a good thing, but I think being able to rest for a complete half day or beyond is always a good thing. And then that day, I think it was Wednesday, last Wednesday, in the afternoon, Master eventually did come out and to greet people. So we were able to see that she was doing okay. And if you didn't know that she was having back pain earlier, you really couldn't tell by just looking at her. So Master has this tremendous endurance for pain and was able to sort of know that the important thing is to come out, but rather not just resting, but just to come out. And whenever she did came out to greet, you will always be able to not see her pain or not see her troubled back or issues. And I think that's just has always been the case. That has always been the case for Master. Okay. But beyond that, I think beyond that, we're seeing that Master is doing okay. Not sure why there's another thing that happened with her back, but I do see that these couple of days she's definitely recovering well. But I think that's just how it goes. I think as the temperature, the weather here in Taiwan is really unstable. I think a couple of days ago it all of a sudden turned warm, and now these couple of days it gets cold again. So I think in these fluctuation of temperature and the instability of the weather, I think definitely contributed to some of the issues that we might be seeing in Master's health. And I do think that we could try to hope that it settles back into a more stable condition where we can be more at ease. But I mean, Master is 90 years old. I think we have to be very grateful that as is her condition, I think is already tremendously much better than many of the people in her age group. So we're grateful, we're thankful, and we're cherishing every moment, every day. So today, let us continue on the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. And we've been doing this for, I think, the past more than 10 sessions already on the infinite meaning, on the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. And it's always has been something that I wanted to sort of having this different context, to show people that perhaps while it's not an overly different way to look at it, it is something that is a different perspective. Rather than going into the books and sort of show show the content and go through the content like any book study would do, I would like to go through what the Sutra of Infinite Meaning says, and specifically according to the context of the current period, or at the time, contemporary period, and also right now, how it applies to us. Okay, so let's do a brief review. I mean, every time I go through the review, and it takes a really long time. And I think that's important, because I think it is very important that we always remember what happened beforehand before we move on to what is happening now, or what is the new progress in this book study. So let's go through this. So far, I think there are, I think, 10 chapters, 10 sub chapters in this chapter 1, and let's just quickly go through the ones that we've gone through. So the first 2 sections, or the first 2 sub chapters, are called the tens of thousands came before the Buddha, and the 80,000 Bodhisattva Mahasatthas. And what are they trying to say? Well, the first sub chapter really talks about it transitions into this very key aspect. The thing that we've been talking about is that the times and periods are changing, right? And imagine, I'm just imagine this, right? The first iPhone came out in 2007, and that was not even 20 years ago. That was 17, that was 18 years ago, the first iPhone. And imagine how in the next, in the 17 years after the first iPhone, the world has gone through a huge and tremendous change, both in hardware and software, both in how the world order is, and how the entire world, technology, and people's lives have been restructured. So that was within a very brief period of less than 20 years. So the context and the backdrop of the Sutra of Infinite Meaning is that times are changing. And because the times are changing, so the way that we teach and we spread the Dharma needs to change too. The Dharma itself doesn't need to change, but the way that we teach and the way that we progress needs to adapt, need to be sustainable. So the very first part, tens of thousands came before the Buddha, talks about the importance for the Dharma teachings to be sustainable. For this to be sustainable, right, Buddha must prepare disciples for the future. And tens of thousands came before the Buddha really tells you one thing, that the Dharma applies to all these people, even though the times are changing, even though there's so many people with all these different backgrounds, but the Dharma applies to them. And it's not just to the people, but it's to all the living beings. The Dharma teaching applies to all of them. And it also applies to these beings in the future. However, the people that's carrying on the teaching, the people that's carrying on and passing on the teaching, needs to make sure that they are prepared for the future, where things are all going to be very, very different. So that's where it sets the context. For the Dharma teaching to be sustainable, and what it means to be sustainable is that it is able to live through the test of time. It's continued to be able to be applied and used in the future, and it can be taught, and it can be passed on for the future generation. And this must mean that the very people that are carrying the torch, that are passing the teachings, needs to make sure that they are prepared, that they are ready for the future. Because the Dharma fits all people, all the different castes, all the different backgrounds. And in the future, the world will be even more diverse. The world will be even more changed from where we are right now, or from where they were back in 2,500 years ago. And you need all these people, you need all these disciples prepared. The 80,000 Bodhisattva Mahasatthas will be the one that's making sure the teachings are sustainable throughout the future. And so these are our role models. These are the very important disciples and followers that have to make sure that the teachings are sustainable to the future. So, because Dharma fits everything, it fits all the people, all the background, all the time, everywhere, but it needs to be carried on. It needs to be passed on to the future, it needs to be sustainable. So, third subsection talks about how these great bodhisattva mahasattvas, how these great sages, how are they able to become so great? Because these are part of very important attributes, part of very important aspects, where they are able to carry on the torch because they have done so in the past, in an even longer time ago. So they were able to do that. So how? Because they were diligent. Their hearts and minds are open to learning, and they're very observant, and they're willing to learn. That's what the subsection is talking about. Yes, it goes into a lot more detail and in a lot more depth, but essentially, it's talking about the attitude. It talks about the attitude where you need to be diligent. But the most important part about this is that your hearts and minds are open. You are not thinking about that you already know everything. You have already the entire wisdom and knowledge is already within your grasp. No, the hearts and minds are open. You are thinking that you are still needing to learn more. You are humbling and you are diligent. You are diligent because you know there's so much more that you need to learn. You're humbling because you know that you don't have all these wisdom and knowledge yet. Therefore, you're diligent. Therefore, you are very humbling. And because you're diligent, you're humbling, because your hearts and minds are open, that you are able to make the great vows to learn more. And in order to do that, you are very observant. You are observant of the things and the people around you. And you are willing to learn and to adapt so that you are so that you are able to pass the teaching on to these people. So that's how subchapter 3 is telling us that these great sages were able to obtain great wisdom and understanding all the Dharma because they have their hearts and minds are open, because they're willing to learn, and they have to be very observant of the things around them so then they know how to adapt. Last of all, they are diligent and they are perseverant so that they are not turned back by they're not set back by any just challenges or difficulties. Next, we see the 12 links of causes and conditions. We've talked about this also. We talked about this several times. The 12 links of causes and conditions talks about the causes and links that started with affliction, that such affliction started, and it turns up, it puts us into the cycle of never-ending causes and conditions where we are just enduring and suffering the consequences, the results of the causes and conditions of the affliction. So what this actually does is that one of the key aspects is to deeply understand the causes and conditions of everything. And this is something that each disciple needs to do as well. Each disciple needs to learn about the causes and conditions, not just about themselves, but for every sentient beings. Because you're able to see the causes and conditions, you are able to much better guide the sentient beings to enlightenment. So the sages of the past, they use the 12 links of causes and conditions to practice on themselves. They observe their own life. They observe their own previous and past lives. And they are also observant of what they're doing now and setting the path for the future. So they learn through themselves. So then they are able to apply this knowledge to all the vast sentient beings, because these sages, these disciples of today, the students of today, are learning to become the teachers of tomorrow. So one of the ways to learn is to practice the 12 links of causes and conditions on themselves. Be observant of the 12 links on your own, on yourself. And then you are able to apply this for sentient beings, to guide them, to teach them. For sub-chapter 5, we're talking about the great guiding teachers for all sentient beings. And I think this is the very important turning point for the first chapter. It has always been talking about the great ones, the very great sages of the past. It has been talking about the role models, the ones where they've done, wondrously. They are leaving names for thousands and thousands of years. These are the Bodhisattva Mahasattvas that have left names, household names, where everybody knows what they do and their great vows. And these are the great guiding teachers. And this sub-chapter talks about how they have become the great guiding teachers. So the disciples and the followers, the students, must also learn to be the teachers. In fact, great guiding teachers. Because they are not just teaching, they are actually teaching for the future. They're not teaching for themselves. They're teaching for the future. They're teaching for all sentient beings. So they are now learning what it takes for all the great sages of the past to not just be learned, to not just be someone who is well-knowledged, but they are also have to be good teachers. I always make a great distinction. This is a huge distinction between somebody who knows and somebody who teaches. Somebody who knows is someone who is knowledgeable, someone who knows the material very well, somebody who is vastly knowledgeable about the particular trade or particular craft. But it doesn't make them a good teacher. It just makes them vast knowledgeable. What makes them a good teacher, and specifically good guiding teacher, is that they are willing to sacrifice themselves and that they are the bastion of hope, of this attitude, that they're able to inspire the learning attitude from students. That's what great guiding teachers do. Okay, and we ran several weeks talking about that, right? Teachers are not just somebody who has this very good knowledge, but also they're actually very, but also they are able to provide a safe haven for students, and they're able to provide a practice field for the students. I think we covered this several weeks, and I think there was a lot of things to be learned. So today we're continuing onto sub-chapter number 6. All the great bhikshus were arhats. And I think it's a little bit different from sub-chapter 5, where it was talking more about, in general, what a great guiding teachers do and how do they become great guiding teachers. Now we're going into actual examples of the disciples of Buddha. How can they teach? How are they teaching? So who can be good teachers? And last week, for this subchapter, there were actually more than 10 disciples that were mentioned. Pick out 7 to show a certain aspect of this chapter. But we've gone through the first 2 already. And the first 2 were Sariputra, true wisdom. And I think I talked about true wisdom means knowing the inadequacy of the own self. I think that is true wisdom. And then combined with knowing when encountering true teaching. I think these 2 marks the very, very important aspect of Sariputra, why he's true wisdom. he was already very wise. He was already very knowledgeable when he was very young. But he knew that it was not enough. He knew what he learned wasn't the true teaching. So he knew the inadequacy of his own. Therefore, he sets on the journey to find that true teaching. So the very first part of true wisdom is he understood that he didn't have enough. He's not understanding. He hasn't found true wisdom. The second part to the true wisdom is knowing that this is the true teaching when you see it. So you do not lose the opportunity to learn. You don't just miss it just because you didn't realize that that was what you're looking for. So I think that defines true wisdom. Number two, we talk about true power. And I think last time we talked about everyone has these superpowers if you set your minds to it. But none of these powers can supersede the truth, which is the karmic cycle. That if you plant the seeds of the cause, eventually, one of these days, when the conditions ripe, the results and the fruits are going to come out. That's power. And a lot of times, it's not about you having the superpower. A lot of times, it's really about you knowing to apply what you know about the karmic cycle, and then you are able to gain this superpower. Just like Master. Master knew that in her past lifetime, that she had been cultivating the good affinity with a lot of people, such that when in this lifetime, Master wanted to do more for more people, all the good affinities comes back. All the good affinity comes back. It makes it seem that Master Ching Yen has this superpower to do all the things that other people can't do. But actually, if we do the same thing that Master did lifetimes and lifetimes ago, we started right now. Let's have good affinity. Let's do the good things that we can do to benefit many, many people. I think in the future, we would also have such wondrous powers because we are following the truth itself, which is called the law of cause and effect. And that's what we left off last week. Okay, we used about 20 minutes to go through what we talked about last week. And so we have about 10 minutes to go through what we're going to talk about this week. Okay, so the third example of how a disciple is going to be a good teacher is Aniruddha. And in the 10th disciple story, he was deemed true sight. I think we all understand, we sort of know his story, where he's a disciple, right, a follower of Buddha, but he will always fall asleep in the middle of the teaching. And he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it that he always fall asleep. And one day he fell asleep again. So the Buddha basically chastised and said that if you're just going to continue to sleep, you might as well be, in the deep sea where there's no light, and they'll just be sleeping for thousands of years. And from that point on, Aniruddha was determined. He was determined to not fall asleep again. So he stayed diligent and he stayed awake for months, and eventually just be very diligent and studying and making sure that he does not fall asleep again. I think that was a little bit extreme, but eventually, due to not resting his eyes, he lost his sight. But because of this, the Buddha granted him true sight, supernatural sight, where you are not seeing with your naked eyes, but you're seeing with your Buddha nature. So the story about Aniruddha, it was that. And so what does that mean? It means it brought out the importance in that in order for a follower, for a disciple to become a good teacher, you need to cherish the teaching with diligence. But in order to teach and guide, you also need to take care of your body, take care of your health. And that's what Master tells us all the time. You have to be diligent, but you do not go overboard. And what is true sight? It means to see beyond what your eyes can see. It means to see with your heart. And most importantly, see with your Buddha nature. That is true sight. And what that means is that for a disciple, for a follower, for a student to be a good teacher, not only do they have to be diligent, but they have to see beyond what everybody sees. There are so many stories where Master sees the goodness in people, that when everybody else was all but given up on some people, Master believed in them and changes their lives. Because Master sees beyond what everybody sees. That's what true sight means. You have to be diligent. That's because you're a student and you are learning the Dharma, you're learning the teachings. But we have to develop this true sight where we can see beyond what normal eyes and what the regular normal eyes would see. Okay? Upali, true equality. He was a royal hairdresser. In fact, he wasn't even a sort of the upper caste. But he was just a royal hairdresser. Eventually, he became just an equal to all the royalties that have also came in to become the practitioner. So royal hairdresser becoming an equal to everybody, to all the royalties that were in the Sangha. And this is something that's very important, right? They are all equal before precepts, before the true teaching. That's true equality. And I will always like to say, no one was born equal, right? Some people were born to good family, good background, wealthy family. Some people were not. Some people were born into countries where it's safe and stable. Some people are not. Some people were born with all their hands and all their limbs attached. Some people were not. So people were not born equally. However, everyone, all sentient beings are equal in front of the law of karma. You are this way because of something that we have done in the past. You are that way because of something that was done, and this was the result. So all are equal before the true law of Dharma. And also, that is what the Sangha or the groups of the practitioners that the Buddha created, was that we must also try to be equal as well, as much as we can, because we are all equal in front of the law of karma. We are all equal in front of the law of the precepts. And therefore, that is true equality. And in fact, imagine the 2,000 years after the Buddha's time. That's where we are. We are still fighting equality. We are still trying to be finding that equality for all. But it has changed greatly since the 2,500 years before. And that's what it talks about, right? Buddha was so ahead of his time that he was bringing this idea of equality before people were still understanding it. People were doing this. This was their life. This was their custom back then. But that's what they were already doing. Okay, already learning to be equal. So the most important part isn't about equality. The most important part is knowing the true equality when it comes before the law of karma. And when everybody faces the Dharma, we are truly equal. Okay, so that's true equality. So today, we've gone through two more, Aniruddha and Upali, talking about true sight and true equality. And all these are there to tell us that these are the followers that eventually became the great teachers. They are great teachers, not because they have these powers, but they all have something that we can learn from. Most importantly, they're not all perfect, but they can all be great teachers, great guiding teachers. And that's what this chapter is telling us. We're not perfect, but we need to learn. And one day we will also become the great guiding teachers that these people have all become. If we can follow what they have done, if we can learn from what they have done, and if we work on ourselves as well. So thank you. That's the sharing for today. We're moving on bit by bit because I think doing it this way, so we're able to sort of, take a small bite and chew it for a long time and hoping that the flavor stays and lingers on a little bit longer. And so every time I will focus more on reviewing because I think that is more important to always remember where we are in the context and then going into a little bit of a new content. But this is something that I think that hopefully we get a better understanding of the Sutra of Infinite Meanings and how important it is in the turning of the time. Thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
And then, Brother Joe, please, before you turn off your video, let's turn on our videos. We'll take a photo before Brother Joe goes off. All right, let's take a photo. The rest, if you can turn on your video. Okay, so we will have a great photographer is going to take a snapshot. Who's going to take that? Sister Su Ching. All right.
Done. Cảm ơn.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, cảm ơn so much, Brother Joe, for the great insights. Next, we have none other than the very diligent Sister Su Ching herself. Is going to share with us the guide and the guiding reader. Happy and joyful learning. Platform is yours, sister.
Cảm ơn. Okay, let me share the screen first. Okay. Dear Master, Abode Masters, and our online Dharma family members, warmest greeting to all, and of course, most grateful to have our Brother Joe with us today. Truly, we cherish greatly this and all this great affinity. Always remember the day back in 2015 when Brother Joe started to guide us, and until today, 2025, it's 10 years already. We are very grateful, Brother Joe, still guiding us on this platform. Okay, today, most grateful to have this opportunity to be the guiding reader for Sister Su Ching, Wenjing, Brother Wenjing, and Sister Su Ching's topic on happy and joyful learning. This was shared by them at Kaohsiung Online Book Study in January 8 on 8. These are the real great diligent bodhisattvas. They are, I think they literally were like going around the world, not only in Taiwan, but they are also active in US as well as in China. Okay. The topic that both of them shared was on this Northern California Elderly Learning Center. So first, okay, let us talk about looking at that. We can see actually it was taken way back on the 5th of September 2024. As we can see, the opening day itself was already very lively and exciting as they welcomed many seniors to the center. They were so grateful to have two centenarians join up. 101 years old brother Yang Dalu and 102 years old grandma Su. Both of them were in such, they are in such a good health, but they are still, they walk into the center on their own, they are not on wheelchair, just walk on into the center on their own. The average age of the seniors attending this center is in their 70s and 80s, with many being non-Tzu Chi members. This shows that seniors in this age group really need such a space. Even more delightful, they had many volunteers of all ages coming to participate, from elderly volunteers in their 80s to young volunteers eager to learn. It truly feels like the Senior Learning Center is a big family with people from all generations. Okay, why do they establish a Senior Learning Center and why is it needed? Let's watch this short video because it's in Mandarin. I just okay. We can look at the scene. So we can see that here everyone can understand that this Senior Learning Center provides a broad and diverse range of learning opportunities for senior in the communities. The aim is to make learning a joyful experience, so everyone forget about their age, which is the essence behind the name Senior Learning Center. Okay, we move on. Okay, this Senior Learning Center in Northern California is like a VIP club for the seniors where the main goal is to stay fit, sharp, and social. Basically, a senior university for lifelong learners. The curriculum is all about three things: exercise, brain activity, and fun interactions. Think about it as like a mini workout, a memory gym, and social club all roll into one. Let's start with the exercise classes. Forget the boring move from A to B stuff here. Here, they are shaking things up with props, music, and plenty of fun. They kick things off with ribbon, rhythmic exercises where you start with wrist twirls and end up creating a full body dance party. Picture seniors spinning colorful ribbons in the air, looking like a rainbow on a mission. Oh no, we don't use videos. Our teachers are more hands-on. They don't use video. The teachers are hands-on. Then our more hands-on than our favorite dance instructor at a wedding, guiding everyone through each move. They also make sure that things are mentally active because we know that dancing is great, but you can't forget the brain workout. So they got the piano jams to boost memories and lung power. Andrew, as the piano teacher, is a crowd favorite. Rhythm exercises that gets the body grooving and brain games that challenge the hearing, eyesight, and hand-eye coordination. It's like a workout for your brain with fewer sweat stains. But wait, there's more. They also bring in Tzu Chi cultural stories into the mix, teaching seniors about compassion while keeping them socially connected. The result, a vibrant, healthy, and happy senior community that's always learning, laughing, and living their best life. The Senior Learning Center is like a love-filled VIP lounge with volunteers giving personalized support to each student. And the teachers, they are so dedicated, they make superheroes jealous. When they are not teaching, they are out there volunteering, spreading kindness like it's their side hustle. Shout out to two of their teachers who don't just prep amazing class materials, they are also jump into volunteering work after hours. They are the true definitions of multitasking, teaching, volunteering, and spreading good vibes all around. For example, teacher Liu Yipei, who teaches floral arrangement, always prepares luxurious flowers materials for each class. Teacher Zheng Yi also personally prepared materials for the students, which is very touching, and we are so, the volunteers are so grateful. At the Senior Learning Center, the volunteers are beyond grateful for their enthusiastic students, especially the two amazing centenarians who never miss a class, never. Despite facing physical challenges, they showed up with smiles, proving that age is just a number and learning is a lifelong party. Their joy and love, the love they get from fellow Tzu Chi members have made their lives richer, both mentally and physically. Honestly, watching them motivates our volunteers to level up their games and keep the good vibes rolling. Truly, it's really amazing and heartwarming. And a shout out to our volunteers who don't just show up, they are trained to grow, learn, and reflect. One of our volunteers, Professor Wang, a physics PhD, was so moved by the experience that he decided to join the team. Now he's Brother Wang from Professor Wang to our volunteer Brother Wang, and we are all better for it. Talk about brainy and heartfelt upgrade. Another student, Meina, a Christian who has received free medical consultation for many years, was also deeply moved by these classes. She filled up a volunteer application form after attending the Senior Learning Center. Tzu Chi embraces those with affinities, and we hope the Senior Learning Center can guide and transform those who have the affinity to join us. Many family members are concerned about the senior learning progress. So the volunteers here, they also prepared a review session for them, allowing everyone to reflect and share the warm memories together. Finally, I want to say that the Senior Learning Center helps address the aging community issues and inspire volunteers to care for the vulnerable seniors. We believe that the Senior Learning Center can revitalize community development. We should open our doors wider and invite more seniors to join the center, creating a strong bond with the community. We hope to see more similar learning centers in every community, just like in Taiwan, our role model. Okay. Finally, Sister Janet Su Ching also said, I want to say that the Senior Learning Center helps address the aging community issues. Okay, yeah, I think this part we have, okay, I spoken just now. So it's a wish that we to see more of this learning center, much growing not only in Taiwan, but US as well as many parts of the country. Okay, let us bring back what about in Malaysia side. Okay, there's one at Malacca. Okay, statistics, this is back in Malaysia own place. Statistics shows that the ratio of Malaysian aged 60 and above is estimated to increase to 10% of the total population, around maybe 3 point, this one is taken few years ago, 3.4 million people by 2020, maybe now would have increased. Malaysia would have transitioned into an aging society by then, according to Ministry of Health of Malaysia, quoting data from the United Nations. With this in mind, Tzu Chi Malacca launched a Caring for the Elderly program back in 2019, with the Elders Enrichment Center as one of its initiatives. This enrichment center aims to foster an enjoyable learning environment for the elderly to encourage them to socialize and stay active in keeping with the spirits of lifelong learning. Approximately 20 Tzu Chi volunteers in their 70s signed up for this first intake of classes. So it started way back on 5th of March 2019. After signing up, our seniors volunteers, they will get this VIP treatment, starting off with a visit to the Tzu Chi free clinic for a quick checkup. So this center, we will know that it's next to this Tzu Chi free center, free clinic. So after the checkup, during the checkup, the volunteers will measure their blood pressure, body temperature, and weight to keep things off. Then it was time for a fitness boost. Some of the seniors were stretching like seasoned yogis, while others were a bit more stiff. But hey, we all start somewhere. Next, an art lesson that had everyone getting creative and confident, pouring their hearts into their masterpieces. The fun didn't stop there. Various games brought out pure joy and plenty of laugh to go around. For a second session on 12 March 2019, they had dental expert Dr. Renette Gunn to share the wisdom on dental care. Each week, the lessons are packed with new experiences, giving our seniors the chance to explore, learn, grow in all sorts of exciting ways. After signing up, many of our, after signing up, our senior volunteers got this health check, as we have mentioned, at Tzu Chi Free Clinic, followed by this exercise routine that has some stretching, like yoga pros, while some were a bit more stiff. So they also have the creative juices flowing in their art classes. We can see many inner artists shine and play some games that spark pure joy. They also have this like dental tips and many other medical doctors with bringing new experiences from music lessons to tea ceremonies and mind-stimulating games. Many of the senior volunteers who are used to be so busy with city activities that they often miss out on some of this TLC, tender loving care. So here we offer these fun enrichment activities to help them connect, laugh, and discover new talents. The goal, get everyone inspired to spread the love and invite others to join City wonderful cause. Okay, we have some student stories like Cham Yunfa, 75 years old, kicks off his morning with a lively exercise routine to keep the years at bay. He recently picked up a paintbrush and humorously draw a big black rat. Sharing the green, Mr. Cham said, the rat sneaking around for food, so I gave it a bowl of water to drink. I mean, the memories of battling rats in his rural hometown led him to repent for his past rat-killing ways through arts, praying, I choose to set them free. May they never cause troubles again in their next life. So this Yunfa jokes that he's still in his 20s at heart after depositing 50 years of his age into the art treasury, our master's Hualien, the age treasury bank. His youthful energy fuels his daily recycling works, and even so he's a volunteer already. And even though he takes one day off a week for enrichment classes, he enjoys connecting the like-minded friends and expanding his horizons. As he wisely put it, we only improve when we actively seek opportunities to learn. Another student, Gu Yi, who hasn't been drawing, she has not picked up these drawing tools since she was 8, found herself deeply absorbed in her artwork. While her classmates used crayons on paper, she took a unique approach, creating crayon prints with her fingers to form a beautiful flower and butterfly scene. I haven't drawn in decades, she laughed, yet her focus and concentrations were all in. For the second class, she crafted handmade bookmarks with pressed flowers, marveling, who knew these simple flowers could turn into such a beautiful creations. Living in a more remote area, Gui is grateful to the volunteers who pick her up for the class. Though her days are usually filled with errands, she cherishes the chance to step out and learn new experiences beyond her quiet life. Another student, Bodhgaya, quickly became the star of the class after creating 2 stunning hand-pressed flower bookmarks. Her fellow students couldn't stop admiring the way she harmonized the colors and crafted such intricate designs. Thank you, everyone. I didn't expect to be able to do this, she beamed, clearly pleased with the praises. This first attempt at handicraft filled her with so much pride that she decided to pass on her newfound skills, planning to teach her children and grandchildren. Attending the lessons gave me something to do instead of idling, dozing off at home. Pauline said, plus, I feel so much better after the workout sessions. I believe in taking care of my health so I don't become a burden to my family and my friends. Fellow students, Taiman, but the pictures we could not find. Okay, but the stories, we have it here. This Taiman signed up for the classes with curiosity and the hope she gained something valuable. She finds the activities refreshing and engaging, even if some challenge her more than others. One game in particular had her holding her breath as she tried to pass a small steel ring through a twisted wire circuit. And each time the two touched, it triggered a beeping sound. My clumsy hands were causing me trouble. This game is definitely a test of concentration, she admitted. The more nervous you get, the worse it gets. But I'm improving with each try. Taiman firmly believes that seniors shouldn't fall into a complacency state. Instead, we should keep both our bodies and our mind active to delay aging. Our ultimate goal is spiritual fulfillment, whether through volunteering with Tzu Chi or joining enrichment classes. Staying idle at home would only lead us into a gloomy state, she said with determination. Most seniors in the golden years would have already retired and left their financial obligations behind. Yet at the same time, they might be prone to loneliness and depressions as they are likely to face the loss of their spouse or an empty nest. These elderly enrichment centers provides a platform for the elderly to pursue lifelong learning, empowering them to lead a meaningful life. Of course, if they can be Su Ching volunteers, definitely we know that all these wouldn't happen. We are so always full of fun learning and also wisdom growing. Okay, finally, thank you everyone for listening, and would like to share this things of tourism with everyone. When everyone is able to exert their pure loving nature, the world will shine with light of hope. The most beautiful thing in the sky is the stars. And the most beautiful thing in the world is warmth. Okay, cảm ơn everyone for listening. With that, I pass back the platform to Brother Chin. 好，感恩。
And then Sister for the insightful sharing, when you were speaking, I was trying to check on Malaysia. Our aging population, meaning 60 years and above, is about 11.1% at the moment, and it's expected to increase to 23% by year 2050. And so obviously the concern, and quite early, Sister, you highlighted, the strain is on the healthcare system. We'll come to that later, Mr. Kim Yan talk about healthcare in Bodhgaya. And the other aspect is actually financial. A lot of people, they plan for retirement, but sometimes the planning, they live longer than what they plan. And that's where the gap is. And interestingly, the other point is, what you have shared is the dependency ratio, meaning the population where it's not working, the young on one hand and the old on the other, depending on the working population. In Malaysia, the dependency population is 42%, currently. 42%. That means 42% of the whole country population depends on the working population. So you just imagine, you look around yourself, your dependents, your children, your parents, right? But then having said that, globally, it's about 58.4%. So we are still below the global average, but the expected dependency ratio for Malaysia is going to be 50% in the years to come. And the interesting point when you shared was, wow, I think actually this planning have to start even now for those who are going towards the 60s. And it's great education, actually. Great program. And then so much, Sister. So now we have another sharer, the third sharer, no introduction. She has been on this platform before, Sister Kim Yan. She's from Singapore, and she has doing a lot of great work in Bodhgaya. And during the short period I was in Bodhgaya, I could see her footprints, walking amongst the alcoholics and those who have been transformed. And she's back to share with us on her journey on quit drinking program, which is a great initiative. I will leave to Sister Kim Yan, is going to take us through and on the wonderful work that she has really been doing that. Sister, the platform is yours.
Good morning. This is the second time that I share on this alcohol, but then I'm a bit slight different. Is I am sharing on the life transformation of a young guy that through our sincerity and love he has transformed. And also I'm sharing on we have invited about 100 of those who have quit alcohol to join us in the year-end blessing to witness and encourage others to quit alcohol. Okay, for we have total done health screening for 8 villages, and we discovered there are 335 people consume alcohol. And we conducted health talk for each village, featuring the role play by our local staff to educate these villages to stop alcohol, as alcohol will cause a health problem. And we go from door to door to encourage villagers to quit drinking. This is a tedious process, but it's effective because we advise them individually, catering to their needs and assess according to their health. And we distributed tea to them and encouraged them to drink tea instead of alcohol. Why we choose tea? Because tea generally is a better beverages for health, and it can improve immune system, reduce high blood pressure. There are many benefits from there, and we review them monthly. This is the continuous caring for them. Okay, we use different approaches based on their health conditions, as well as their family background and financial status. In total, last year December, we have 105 people stop alcohol, to 31.3%. So where they get this alcohol? There are people who make alcohol from this mahua, it's a trees, and then but they make in a poor quality. Another form of where they can get is the sky juice from the palm tree. But this is a seasonal fruits where it's only available in hot season. That means April, May, June, and July, beginning of July. So you could see the hygiene is not so good. Okay, why we ask them why you want to drink? Most of them will tell you after work they feel tired and they drink alcohol to relax, and they feel they enjoy it. And some of them said they have body ache. After drinking, it can relieve the aching. And this alcohol is affordable because it's of poor quality and homemade, and it's readily available. And some of them even went from house to house to sell. So this is the map of Bihar. Bodhgaya is located right below. From 2016, the government imposed complete alcohol ban, and there are various studies and reports on the financial and health impact of people consume alcohol. And there are 5 key issues. First is the direct expenditure, means the person drinking the alcohol. They spend 1,500 to 2,000 rupee monthly, and you can see the annual spending is 18 to 24,000. And how we also when we advise them to quit alcohol, we will ask them how frequent they drink and what amount. So when they tell us, we have this table, and we'll show them. If you, for example, you drink 1 bottle a day, you spend 50 rupees, 30 days, 1,500. For 20 years, you spend 360 rupees. 360,000 rupees. So they are surprised to know that they have spent so much. And we ask them, what are you going to do with this amount of money? So some of them will say they want to build a house, renovate, or some will say they want to do business. So this is a good for them to reflect that they actually, if they stop drinking, they can do a lot of things with this big amount of money. And second is the healthcare expenditure. Alcohol consumption will develop liver disease and other health issues. So for chronic medical conditions, like they develop fatty livers, they may spend 300,000 to 15,000 rupees. Severe cases like cirrhosis, means hardening of the liver, or they may get alcohol-related cancer, they may spend 20 to 100,000. In total, annually, if they may spend 5 to 20,000 for those heavy or moderate drinkers. The villagers, most of them are illiterate. So when we tell them drinking causes liver problem, they cannot visualize. They did not know where is the location of the liver. So we show them this is the liver at which part of your body. And then we advise according to medical perspective. We show them healthy liver. After drinking for years, it will become hardened. And we ask them, do you want your liver to be in that shape? And then people with high blood pressure, we will take the blood pressure and tell them the blood pressure is very high. There's a risk of stroke and he has to stop drinking and see a doctor. The third issue is the workplace productivity loss. After drinking, most of them cannot be focused. So they will be absent from work. So annually, it's about 5 to 10 days. And if a daily wage worker earns about 300 rupees per day, there will be a loss of 2,000 to 5,000 rupees. For them, is a lot. And the fourth is the social household expenditures. Most of the alcoholic, they spend their income on drinking and they neglecting the family needs on food and educations. So the monthly loss is about 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. So for 1 year is 12,000 to 24,000. And for how we advise, for those middle-aged alcoholic, we will tell them, you have young children, you save the money for educations and be a role model for your son. As for the elderly, we change different approach. We tell them, you are drinking. Now your son also drink. So your grandchildren now is small. When they grow big, they will drink also. So ask them, do you want all your younger generation, future generations to continue drinking alcohol? The fifth is the miscellaneous loss. Alcohol is banned. And if they caught drinking, they have to face legal issues. And they may be fined 1,000 to 10,000 rupees. And those alcohol-related accidents will result in severe injuries and also long-term disability, which need comprehensive medical treatment as well as rehabilitation. So the annual loss is 5,000 to 50,000. So for the above five key issues, for one person, if they drink, the total loss annually is 38,000 to 83,000 rupees. We have persuaded 105 people quit alcohol. So you can see the saving will be almost 4 million to almost to 8.8 million rupees. So is this amount this is only 105 people, but bear in mind in the whole Bihar, there are millions of people drinking alcohol. How we confirm that they have stopped alcohol? We not only ask this person because they may not be truthful enough. We will ask spouse, parents, grandparents, even children, because children, they are very honest. They will tell you the truth. And even we ask neighbor to confirm. What are the benefits for quitting alcohol? Is what I mentioned just now. So if you stop, they will improve the physical health and then also mental health. They will be more focused and they can be, the mood are more stabilized and they cause less violence in the village and family. And also, of course, there is less family abuse. The relationship between families and friends are better. And then improve the productivity. That means they are more focused and more motivated at work. And then financially, if they keep the money, save this money, and can be spent and can be sent redirected to the family expenditures. Now I would like to share on this year-end blessing that is on 5th of January this year. So we invited 100 of them. Why 100? Because there are another 5 was not in their home because they went outstation to work. So where we invited them, we have our year-end blessing at this Mahabodhi International Conventional Center. This center is very beautiful and huge, and they can accommodate 2,000. There are 2,000 seaters. We can accommodate more than 2,000 people in each session. And we invited them to attend. We went house to house to invite them. And we give them this piece of paper with their names, written name, their names, their village, as well as their house number. Why we want to give them this? Because we invited 2,000 people and it's very hard to identify them when they are in such a huge place. So we ask them, when you go for attending this year-end blessing, please bring along this. And when we see this, we know what are they coming for. And we arrange a representative from each group to manage this list. That means in their village, we get a representative to manage. And then on that day, this representative will identify those people holding this paper and bring them and let them board the first bus. So when they reach the convention center, we saw this paper they are holding, then we give them this number lanyard. And with this numbering, we can know how many was attended. And we also invite 4 sharers on stage. And we have arranged 100, but on that day, because it was very cold, so only 58 attended. And each of them, we give them this bear made from a shop. So because of we invited them for the presentation, so we wanted to give them a gift of token. So we gave them a shawl because the weather is very cold, and also because we were thinking of how are we going to give it to them. If we're going to wrap it up, then it's not so eco-friendly because we have to use paper, so forth. So because I was on my way to Bodhgaya and I transit in Bangkok, and I stay in a hotel. and I saw in the hotel room where they use towel to make 2 big elephants. It looks very beautiful. So that impressed me. Then suddenly I have this idea. Then I was thinking, why not we also make something else? So I went, because I have no knowledge of how to make. So I went into the YouTube to learn from there. So I try and make rabbits and others, but then it's a bit cumbersome because for rabbit and others, you need to put in the eye, the nose, the mouth. So, and I choose teddy bear because it's much simpler. You need only 3 rubber bands and a ribbon. And I try making the teddy bear, but after making, I will show to someone, the volunteer, tell me what is this? And from the very beginning, they told me it's doll. So I know it's not right. So I try many times until it really looks like a teddy bear. And also, many volunteers also came in to help to make this teddy bear. So you can see, we make 100 teddy bear, and everybody was very happy. And on our year-end blessings on the 5th. So on the 4th, we have a rehearsal. We invited some of them to go on to come for rehearsal. So on that day, 36 turned up. So we had some rehearsal outside the hall. And after, then later we brought them into the stage, brought them on stage. And we try to rehearse on how to move out from the backstage. But then, because it's not easy to how to say, it's not easy to lead them. It's very difficult. So it was not in order. So the organizer said, try again. But suddenly one man was very angry. He said, he threw this teddy bear and he said, why keep letting us walking up and down? We already know. I want to go back. What? As one person said he's going back, the rest also said they are going back. So we have no choice but to arrange transport to send them back. But I did tell this man, I said, please, tomorrow you must come and tell the rest. But he not his head. He said he will come. I tell the rest, you all must come too. They said, they also nod their head. But in my heart, I felt, will you come? But I'm trying to have hope. But the next day, to my surprise, he came. There was the one in pink. He came, and then we let them pay respect to the Buddha outside the hall, and then we brought them into the hall auditorium. So this is all when they go up the stage, and here is the banner. That means do not drink alcohol. It will promote health. Okay, and then we also have a slogan. That means on stage we have all this. We have this slogan. So this slogan is about what? Daru nahi pina. So we have a simple sign language. Daru is the alcohol. Nahi is no. Pina is drink. So all of them, we teach them, we cannot give them too complex sign language. So we just tell them, Daru nahi pina. Okay. Me ka satahu means I don't drink. Like that. Afrika sate ho. That means you can do it also. So this is the slogan. At the end of the presentation, we have this slogan. So we have 2 sessions. morning session and afternoon sessions. So after the morning session, we invited them to enjoy a delicious lunch at a hotel garden. Most of them have not been to hotel. And moreover, you have a nice lunch outside the hotel. It's a garden. So all of them enjoy it, and some of them they have second or even third rounds of the lunch. Okay. And what are the challenges? Because I'm worried, we are concerned of they are not honest, and when they are still drinking, but they told us it's not drinking. So when we are inviting them, we went house to individual and tell them, you will be going on stage. So you must be honest to us that you have stopped drinking. If not, when you go on stage, your friend or your neighbors will laugh at you. And also, we are worried that some villagers may not show up or might be late, because this is some sort of the culture. And there are many changes. Because you can see during rehearsal, all of them leave. And the actual rehearsal end up with only one sharer. And on the actual day, we have invited 4 sharers, but only 1 turned up. So you can see the changes is very great. And we have to, all these changes, we have to accept it and just move forward. Now I would like to share on the transformation of this young guy. He, on the 23rd October, he was intoxicated, and he creating a fighting outside his village. That time, our brother and sister is having an event there, and he's creating a problem there, and there was a fighting this thing. So our brother and sister tried to stop him, and there's a lot of pushing and he struggled, and then a lot of people try to press him down. Okay. So this is on that day he turned up, and he was with me at the garden. He went there for lunch too. So he has changed. Here I would like you all to watch the video of how he was being transformed.
Radin Kumar, a resident of Ganga Biga village, was arrested for drunkenness and spent time in jail. His experience prompted him to commit to quitting alcohol.
Sorry.
Radin Kumar, a resident of Ganga Biga village, was arrested for drunkenness and spent time in jail. This experience prompted him to commit to quitting alcohol.
धीरे-धीरे करके स्टार्टिंग में हमको प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, फिर हम छोड़ दिए। दारू छोड़े इन लोग काफी हमारा गांव में कोई ट्रस्ट चल रहा है, उन माध्यम या सूची फाउंडेशन कुछ हम सुन रहे हैं। शरीर में बहुत मतलब प्रॉब्लम, लीवर पे में मतलब खाना वाना सोने में गला में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता था, और मैं काफी एक बार दारू पी के इन लोग के साथ में गलत व्यवहार कर दिए थे। जब से हमको काफी मतलब बेइज्जती महसूस होने लगा, और प्लस में बहुत हमारा शरीर में उस दिन चोट लगा हुआ था, तो काफी दर्द से हम कम से कम 1-2 महीना हम वही छोड़ने में हमको वही बहुत बेइज्जती लगा, मतलब फीलिंग अच्छा नहीं लगता है, इसलिए हम नहीं पीना चाहते। और प्लस में हम पर बहुत तरह के विवाद भी दारू पीने के बाद, पुलिस प्रशासन भी हमारे यहाँ साथ नहीं देता है, लोग तुरंत पकड़ के जेल यहाँ से लेके चल जाता है, इसीलिए हम दारू छोड़ देना चाहते हैं।
When Radin stopped drinking, his wife Sona became much happier. They no longer argue about alcohol. Radin assists with household chores, provides Sonam with his earnings, and the family is no longer hungry, something Sonam had never dared to hope for in the past.
अभी हो गया है 2 महीना नहीं पी रहे इधर जब से लड़ाई झगड़ा हुआ है तो कोई समझ में आ गया कि दारू नहीं पीना है जब से हमें अपना घर को देखना है इसलिए नहीं पी रहा हमको बहुत अच्छा महसूस हो रहा है कि घर में अपने बच्चा को देखते भी हैं कमाते तो घर में देते हैं दारू पीता है तो नहीं देता तो कुछ भी नहीं देता था अब है कि समझते थोड़ा ठीक है चल रहा है दारू नहीं पीने की वजह से घर में भी देखते हैं सब कुछ पहले दारू पीता तो फिर बाहर में भी किसी से लड़ जाता था घर भी आ जाता हम लोग से लड़ता था हमको मारा पीटी हो जाता था कभी कभी लड़ झगड़ना हो जाता था खाना पीना नहीं रहने के कारण नहीं बनाते थे तो ऐसे भी जाते लड़ाई झगड़ा हो जाता था अब नहीं होता अब बहुत खुशी से रहते हैं हम लोग हमारे 3 बहन बहुत अच्छा से रहते हैं सब ठीक है घर ठीक चल रहा है अभी काम धाम भी करने जाते हैं तो घर ठीक चलता है
काफी दिन से हमारे गांव में आके लोग को मदद कर रहे हैं हमको भी मदद किए हैं हाँ फैमिली के साथ तो अच्छा ही चलता है दारू नहीं पीते हैं तो दारू पीने के बाद में तो बहुत दूसरा टाइप के दिमाग हो जाता था लेकिन अब थोड़ा कुछ अपना घर के बारे में सोचते हैं कमाने खाने के लिए इधर उधर कुछ ना कुछ करते रहते हैं काम धाम वर्किंग करते रहते हैं उससे मेरा घर भी चलता है हम लोग भी खुश रहते हैं
Quitting alcohol is not easy, but with determination, it is achievable. Whether it is an individual's transformation, an entire village, or even Bodhgaya itself, hope is on the rise. Reporting from India, Shuli Chu, Dongli, Yongmenfai, Amal Kumar, Thai News.
Okay. And we arrange meeting sessions for him and one of our volunteers because during the fighting there is some pushing and pushing on. So we invite 2 of them to repent and talk to each other. So they are very happy. And after this, we invited him to join us to go door to door to encourage his villagers to stop alcohol. We have planted a seed of goodness in him and transforming his life in a way that benefits not only his family, but also strengthen the relationships within the village. Persuading people to quit alcohol is challenging, but with compassionate volunteers, we regularly visit them with our genuine concern, perseverance, and patience. We have had successfully encouraged villagers to give up alcohol. Thank you, Kanan. This is my sharing for today.
And Sister Kim Yan for a really heartfelt sharing. Sister Kim Yan, you actually showed us the workings of precept number 5, which is not to indulge in alcohol, refrain from indulging in alcohol. If you can come up from your slide mode, that would be useful. So obviously, then the 5 precepts actually for us as lay practitioners that we need to observe is obviously make sure that our mind is capable of learning, and alcohol is one that clouds our mind and able to learn. And I think Sister Kim Yan, but you've done a really great job. It's really for them to get their minds back. Otherwise, you just cannot progress with this sort of life. So great work, Sister Kim Yan. Are you still now? Are you in Bodhgaya? Are you back in Singapore now?
I'm back to Singapore for Chinese New Year.
Oh, I see. Okay, wonderful.
I'm still applying for my visa, waiting for my visa to approve to go back.
Yes, Sister Chui San, I believe that is
She's
following up your good work over there,
yeah.
which is great. and the way you have promoted the mindfulness and helping them is really, I can see the painstaking effort that you've gone round in getting. Did you say 2,000? You invited
Yes,
altogether 2,000.
2,000. In fact, every session is 2,000, more than 2,000.
Wow. That's great work, especially given the very limited resources that
Yes,
we
yes.
have in Bodhgaya. But what you have great one thing I noticed that what you've done, you're a very resourceful person. You've got the villagers to be on duty to help you out, which is great that they have a role to play. And that is the collaborative effort that must have been talking about. These are the embracing virtues that we should practice. And I like your ingenuity of making bags from cloth and simple things, but bring a lot of joy to their hearts. But I think when I was there and I'm trying to follow your footprints, with Sister Teresa, of course, and I can see that this group of people, they are really abandoned by the society.
Yes.
Nobody would have helped them.
Yes, especially the young guy, actually, because he created a lot of problem in the villages. In fact, all of them, they sign and they send the list to the police to complain about him. And they even among themselves, they even among themselves, they don't walk near to his where he stay. That means they will avoid the area where he stay.
Wow.
Most of the villagers. But you can see he has changed. He has really changed after that. And he is more friendly instead of last time causing a lot of trouble.
Fascinating. And obviously, there are also a few other stories that I heard when I was there.
There are a few interesting stories actually.
Yes. Great work. And the program is still continuing.
Yes.
You have set the path, you have set the footprints.
Because this you persuade them is not only one time or two times. You need a long-term 陪伴 together. Then you can know, and then you can know the change. Because if only one or two times, it's easily they get back and drink. But this is not only my effort, it's a group effort. Everybody chip in to help, even volunteers, local volunteers.
Fascinating. And obviously, as you shared and looking at obviously the pictures and the videos you've shown, and reminds me the point about going to reach out to the people who have been abandoned. And really, the whole practice they've shown to us is going to the lowest amongst the low. And gives so much meaning to the whole perspective of what you're doing, Sister Kim Yan. So I do hope one day I will meet you there and walk the journey with you and experience what you've been doing. Fascinating. So, Karen, so much, Sister, for the great sharing. And there's a lot, we have learned a lot from this, from you. And obviously, I was also invite those who are able to go to Gaia to do your volunteering work, because they need people. As you can see, we have limited resources there. Okay.
Especially big events.
All right, so Ganesh, so much so the time we have three great sharers that we had this morning from Brother Joe in Taiwan, then Mr. Su Ching here in Malaysia, the Kim Yan from Singapore and Bodhgaya. So we covered a great geographical area. But each one of the sharing has been extremely inspiring. And there's a lot of great lessons that we can take in from this morning sharing. All right, so I wish you all a good weekend and have a great week ahead. And so
Thank
as
you.
we end, we offer 3 bows to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. First bow. Second bow, the devotion. And our third bow, the gratitude. We also offer 1 bow to our board masters. Bow. All right. So excellent. So have a good week ahead, and I'll see you back again next week. Cảm ơn.